Today I've got for you a fun match between my Magoroku Fugen New Batama deck and my opponent's Grajiorl Dragon Neo Nectar deck. Funny that I'm faced off against Grajiorl Dragon since I made the deck profile or deck preview for it a few weeks back. But I'm actually still weighing some cards, but I got my cards for my New Batama deck. So I win the dice roll here, and I choose to go first because going first is just better in V format right now. And I think it's pretty much been the entire time here. So just a fair warning that there were some technical difficulties. My power kept flickering, so I had to wait for my router to reboot. And on top of that, this game wasn't the smoothest from either my opponent or I, but I feel like the power that this deck has, especially with one specific card, makes this game very interesting and actually worth very much showing off. Because I actually think I played it very well despite low rolling, especially in my opening hand. So definitely one of the I think it's a really exciting match to see, and also I think it brings up a good discussion about one of the cards in Nubatama. But we start off here. So I've of course running the Evil Dragon starter because it is an Evil Decoy token focused deck, though it doesn't really matter what starter you run. So here I actually draw into no grade 1, so I have to assist for it. I've got the Gonohi, Magatsu Gale, Jaijin, Heal, 5k draw trigger, and another Magatsu Gale in hand. So don't even have a grade 3, just two trigger, or I do have a grade 3, but none that I want to ride. So I add the grade 1 there. The I don't remember its name, even though I play the deck. Some of these names can be really tough. Once I see them, I remember them, but I don't know why I'm forgetting that one. But get the grade 1 dog, and I end up removing the Jaijin and the 5k draw. 5k draw is pretty easy, and the Jaijin will it mostly comes up later in the game, so I was fine getting rid of it in this instance, as everything else is more proactive, and I think will probably need those Magatsu Gales to help draw me some more cards to hopefully see my Magoroku Fugen, especially since my grade 1 draw is not the top 5 searcher. So ride it, get the draw from starter, and my opponent actually has to assist as well, having two of the grade 2 Grajiorl Dragons, two draws, but he finds the Padmini, and he ends up removing one of the grade 2s and the draw trigger. Makes sense. I think I didn't say he also had the grade 3, but he gets his own Padme. But since he already has the grade 1 Grajiorl Dragon as well as, or the grade 3 Grajiorl Dragon, as well as the grade 2, he's probably not too worried about it. But still, the Padmini, nice to have there. Gets to check top 5 for another card if he so chooses. Draws from starter skill, gets his quick shield, and then checks top 5 here and adds the Master Wisteria, great card to have for when he starts aggressing, and especially since he's well, we already saw he doesn't have the other Gradual Dragon in hand, so definitely a really great card to have for when he starts calling stuff. So he attacks, drive checks the grade 1 Gradual Dragon, and I check the Mizukaze here. So no reason to guard. I mean, we looked at our hand. I do have the grade 3 there, but I don't think it was very great to use it there when my opponent could rush on grade 2. So we ride the Magatsu Gale to draw one since I am still trying to fish for my grade 3 ride, the Magoroku Fugen. So definitely worthwhile. And plus the extra power means that my opponent's going to block with 10k if he wants to guard it. And he does have the grade 1 Gradual Dragon in hand. Or actually, sorry, it's a Vanguard swing, so it's at least 10k to guard, but really, 15k can't block it. So he just decides to take it. I check nothing. He checks draw trigger. So he rides into grade 2 Gradual Dragon to check top 7 for the grade 3 Gradual Dragon. But of course, he chooses not to add anything, so he can just call one of the 10k plant tokens, which very powerful play, especially since here he has the grade 3 Gradual Dragon, and he has the Master of Stare if he wants to search out a copy for the re-ride. Definitely, I think, the better play there. And that way he can aggress more, just have more on board. So he actually just chooses to swing with these two, 10k to my 9k. And here, I don't really have anything good to guard with, so I just choose to take it. Checks grade 2 Gradual Dragon, or sorry, Arboros Dragon. And then I check the crit, just shutting down that plant token, meaning he can't aggress me. So not bad there at all. Also wanted to take the damage, just in case I didn't draw the grade 3, which I did not in this case, or at least I didn't draw the Magoroku Fugen. That way I can use Magatsu Gale. So I do choose to ride up into the Mizukaze. My thought process behind this is it gives me Twin Drive, meaning I am now going to see 2 additional cards when Mizukaze really isn't that useful here. But on top of that, it will be when I do rewrite, it will be a grade 3 insult to use another Mizukaze. So I use the Katara Gitsune, add another Mizukaze. So I'm still not seeing the correct ride target, but here's what I was talking about. I want to ride that Mizukaze for this scenario, because when I do see the Magoroku Fugen, despite me being so far behind, Mizukaze's effect is really powerful, limiting guard restricts. And if I can just get him up into a point where all my attacks are swinging for lethal, I might just be able to end it right then and there, just like despite my opponent having a large hand size. And for that reason, Mizukaze is just such a nasty card. Pretty much just telling your opponent that if it gets too late in the game, and I have the correct setup, they're just not going to have a lot of trouble pulling back, or they're just going to have to take an attack and hope they heal down. Now, of course, the limiting factor with Nubatama is that it isn't the best deck at all, but if Nubatama gets a really solid support, I can see Mizukaze being a huge issue card. So my opponent blocks my Vanguard attack, check Yamashibuki, and a crit trigger, so I can give all effects to Magatsu Gale, so pretty good about pushing, which I did call and use Magatsu Gale's effect as I'm still trying to fish for the Magoroku Fugen. The multi-attack part of this deck is not worth it if I don't have Magoroku Fugen. Well, I shouldn't say it's not worth it, but I do think it's worth trying to find the Magoroku Fugen because it's our main powerhouse of the deck. So my opponent chooses to take this, checking looks like Arbros Dragon and Grade 3 Grajiorl Dragon. So not bad seeing one of those out. I use the Magatsu Gale to bounce back the Katari Kitsune. That way I can try to have another chance to find my Magoroku Fugen. And on top of that, putting Magatsu Gale to soul just means I have more soul to use on the following turn for various card effects. And I really needed the 2 soul in there if I draw the Magoroku Fugen. And I think that's kind of playing here. I was hoping to push him up to 5. I mean, I didn't, but here I pretty much have the setup. So if I go Magoroku Fugen, I've got the grade 3 to Soul Blast, and I have the 2 soul for something like uh why can't Kurogiri, that's the card I was thinking of, to be able to spawn my evil decoy tokens. And I'm not in too he's at grade 3, which is a bit scary, but I'm not too pressured by it at 2, at least not yet. So my opponent, of course, rides the Grajiorl Dragon, goes Force 1, calls the Arbros Dragon to call an additional plant token, and here he's just debating where to call them. He and ultimately chooses to make the better call, which I think is the correct play in this deck, as you've got ways to just overcall a you've got plenty of plant token spawners, so you can overcall plant token spawner on a plant token and then call plant token on top of the Arbros Dragon. Swings 20k at Vanguard, so I just need a 10k to guard. I do have the Katari Kitsune, but I don't know if I really want to use it as I still want to fish for Magoroku Fugen. So I actually forget what I guard with here, or if I just take it. All right, I just choose to take it, and Magoroku Fugen. Of course, the top deck's Magoroku Fugen. So another 20k swing at Vanguard with the assistance from the Force Marker. And here I just choose to guard it with the Joggenro. Joggenro, that's its name. But the reason to guard what I guarded with Joggenro there was because I have the Goenohi here, and I have a feeling that when it comes to Counterblast, actually I might have had 2 Joggenro at this point. I don't entirely remember since I can't see my hand, unfortunately. I can't tell you. But here, my opponent swings with Grajiorl Dragon, overcalls Master Wisteria and the Budding Dragon, or not Budding Dragon, the Grade 1 Grajiorl Dragon. Yeah, Grade 1 Grajiorl Dragon. It's like Budding Performance is the name. So here, oh yeah, and he accidentally stacked the Grade 2 on it when he shifted it over. So here, he can use Grajiorl Dragon to call a plant token, but he can also use Master Wisteria. He did discard to call 2 plant tokens, but also search out a copy of a card. And actually here, my opponent, instead of choosing to add Grajiorl Dragon, and chooses to add the Grade 3 Grajiorl Dragon, chooses to call add the Grade 1 Grajiorl Dragon. I imagine that's either because he has one in hand, or he thinks that he might need the shield value next turn. I don't know which one it is, but whichever one it is, I think that is a fair assumption to sometimes make, especially if he doesn't have a Grade 1 already and he's scared of a Mizukaze swing. I think that's a very valid play to make here. So now he and then with the Grade 1 Gradual Dragon, he's able to draw one and give it 5,000 power since he overcalled a plant token with it. So really just setting himself up very well. So I block it, make it a 2 to pass, since Gradual Dragon is just swinging for the 13k, and my opponent checks a heal here, a bit unfortunate, but is what it is, and he gives the power there. He can swing with Master Wisteria, use its effect to give all the plant tokens plus 5,000. So there, that'd be a 23, that'd be a 38,000 power swing. And I think here I just choose to take it because both columns should be comparable in power. The other column is plus 10, so plus 25. So yeah, 38. So they're both swinging for the same amount, so there's no reason not to just take one, hopefully see a damage trigger to help me better guard the other one, and that's what I choose to do. And unfortunately, another Magoroku Fugen. Of course, all of them that I want to see are just going in damage. I mean, that's just sometimes how Vanguard is. It feels almost poetic at times, but that's just honestly karma for the Zorga game I had played a bit earlier. I think it was before this. So here I just use the Kurogiri and the Heal Guardian to block that final attack, as I don't want to go up to 5 yet. I want to be able to take a damage, and yeah, just double checking numbers there. And then the turn gets passed to me. So here, I don't believe I see Magoroku Fugen yet, so I just have to set another turn on the Mizukaze here. So I call it the Katara Gitsune, hoping just to please find something. And I finally find a Magoroku Fugen to start to be able to ride up next turn. And since I do have the Mizukaze in hand, as long as I can survive, I have a powerful setup for the next attack, for my next turn, to hopefully try to close out the game. Though I will say it is a bit iffy with the fact that my opponent has the plant tokens that can intercept, as that will supplement their hand, and intercepting does not count towards the Mizukaze guard restrict. So still not completely in the clear yet from a victory, but I know that setting up this Mizukaze play is my best chance at victory. So here I also set up the Yamashibuki just to be able to get some extra defense out, but also to power up Katara Gisane to be able to hit. So I called them Magoroku Fugen because it's at this point it's public information since I revealed it. So no reason to give up another card in hand. So I call it my 2 evil decoy tokens. Fortunately not the 3, but just enough to give Katara Gisane the power to hit Vanguard. And Yamashibuki swinging for 19,000. So forcing my opponent to guard with, yep, he intercepts with one of the plant tokens, which is fine. Not the best because he can easily get them at Grajiorl Dragon, but sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. So here the Mizukaze swings, and I choose to swing Vanguard. I figured I just kind of need to do it. He has no guard, and I check a critical trigger. Exactly what I needed to see there. And a draw trigger. So now I have a PG next turn. I've got some better shield value. The crit putting him up to 4 as long as he doesn't, actually he can't heal out of this, so he gets his own draw trigger. But that was huge there, because now, that was the other big thing. I needed to get him at 4 damage for all my swings next turn to be in lethal range. So being able to hit that critical trigger there off the no guard, which is why I swung Vanguard to Vanguard. Great, puts me in the position I want. And I swing with Katara Gitsune, he blocks that with the Arboros Dragon from hand, and the turn gets passed to him. So he does have the re-ride, which is, I think, one of the reasons why he was perfectly fine not adding the budding dragon or the budding performance Grajiorl dragon from deck with Master Wisteria. So understandable. And here he puts a Master Wisteria from drop on the bottom of the deck to spawn 2 plant tokens with Grajiorl dragon's effect. Really good effect. I really like that Grajiorl dragon has all this going for it, making it just a powerhouse. He chooses to switch the 2, which I find interesting, as that tells me he might not have a better plant token generator. But here he swings for 20,000, means an easy 10k shield. I think here I can just intercept with the evil decoy tokens, I think is what I end up doing here, because it's such an easy guard. Or I do Yamashibuki plus 1 evil decoy token. Okay, that makes sense. I don't need the Yamashibuki. I think I want to save the counterblast for Gonohi. So thus, and I believe I have a Kurogiri in hand and the 2 soul to be able to spawn all the tokens I need. So it makes sense also that way he can attack into the Yamashibuki to lose me out on 5k shield. Though at the same time, if he does that, I'd probably be a 5k shield guard anyway. So not too, I don't know how impactful that play is, but I don't think it was a bad play either. So here I guard the other swing from the plant tokens. That one was 20k, and I just have to guard the 20 guard with the 15k shield. Unfortunately, need to keep that Kurogiri in hand. So my opponent attacks and overcalls Maiden of Fallvine and an Arboros Dragon. So being able to spawn, draw a card off of Fallvine, gain 5,000 power, and then being able to just spawn an extra token with the Arboros Dragon, really powerful, really great combo. I could definitely see running the grade 2 Arboros Dragon, so drive check, grade 1, or grade 2 Gradual Dragon, Fruit Basket Elf. But I could definitely see that being a good card. I personally picked up Sylvia, but having just an extra ride target to be able to get 10k plant tokens out early, not too bad at all. You just need another plant token spawner. So here I take that swing, I get check Magatsu Gale, and here, this one's a pretty big column, so I just PG discarding a Magoroku Fugen, because I think off the draw I drew into my 4th one here. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have discarded it. So here, I just know what I have to do, go Magoroku Fugen, get myself a protect marker, and I forget where I put it. I definitely put it up in the front row. I just want my attack swinging for as much as possible. So, yep, I put it there. And here, so I never ended up using the other evil decoy token, but I'm going to have to overcall both because I want Go no Hi out. I want Mizukaze out. So most likely the Yamashibuki would have gone. Though, looking back on it now, I could just do Mizukaze over Katara Gitsune, Go no Hi over Mizukaze, and I could have kept up the Yamashibuki to swing for extra power. So in hindsight, I actually do think that would have been the more optimal play, as it would have hit for a higher number, would have required more guard. Yeah, that would have been the better number for sure. And actually, this might have made the difference in my opponent being able to guard now that I look back at it. So definitely huge. Like that's a good note to make that that was a pretty big miss on my part. So I overcall Go no Hi. You do the exact play I was intending to. But yeah, this is why I like watching back on these games, so that way I can spot stuff like this, where I should have gone with both evil decoy tokens and left up the Yamashibuki for as long as I can. I mean, there's no retire in my opponent's deck that I don't think Neonectar has access to any retire. If it does, it's very conditional. So the fact that I could have had a 39, if on that circle would have been a 44k attacker, I think would have made a huge difference in this game. Because here, Go no Hi swings is plus 15, so but plus 20, so it's 29. So here we can actually intercept with two of the plant tokens. I think I need to correct it. Yeah, it's like you actually have to guard. That's 29. So yeah, he guards with both of them. They don't count toward the Mizukaze, but if it was sure he could have done it on another attack, but the extra power from the Yamashibuki would have been huge. So here I'm able to reuse the Go no Hi, gains an additional 10,000 power, and yeah, my numbers would have just been so much bigger and would have been so much more difficult to guard. Even with like, I'm sure my opponent has the heal guardian, so that means he can guard with effectively with a grade 3. But just little stuff like that, especially with how almost unfair Mizukaze's effect is, you can really see how the numbers can start to add up, and that's why I really like this with Magoroku Fugen. Because with low swings, it's just like my opponent's like, okay, whatever, 10k shield for that one, 5k shield for that one, 15k shield for that one. And even with no crit pressure as well, it's you can start taking hits. But Magoroku Fugen giving your rear guards both power and crit, Mizukaze just feels so scary if you don't have enough guard. Like you would need multiple grade 2s likely, multiple grade 1s to call on a guard, and even then with a multi-attack, it's you just run out of grades, especially grades that can guard effectively. So here I swing with Magoroku Fugen, and he guards, just hard guards it with two grade ones only from hand. So here's where it skips because my power flicker. But yeah, he guarded with intercepted twice and then guarded with two grade ones. So he's only guarded from hand with grade ones so far. So that's a 30k 43. So it's a 2 to pass here. So I hit Jaijin. I didn't think I was going to hit it. Yamashibuki. So wasn't expecting too much from my deck here. It's not super compressed, but still, not bad cards for next turn necessarily. There is a next turn, but I have a feeling that I'm not going to be able to guard this one. So Katara Gitsune swings. That is 28,000 at Vanguard. Pretty good. So there's the Heal Guardian, and he needs an additional 5,000 shield, I believe, than the Heal Guardian. Yeah, he needs an additional 5,000 shield. So he guards. Oop, I didn't catch what that one was. So he guards with. Oh, it's grade 3 and then a grade 2, I believe. Yeah, that's the grade 2 Grajiorl dragon. So grade 3, that means he can only guard with grade 0s, and I'm coming in with 39k, but then he just drops two 15k shields, and that's that for that turn. So my opponent was able to guard it. I really am curious if he would have been able to if I just kept up the uh, Yamashibuki. That's definitely uh, I wish I could wind back time, redo that to see if that would have been enough. But I still think even if not knowing, I still think it's better. It would have been better to do. So here my opponent just spawns the two plant tokens with I believe he used Fruit Basket Elf there to give them the power up as well, and he just swings for 20. And I think here I do think I try to guard these, even though my shield value is very low. So I go no Hi because I know I won't be able to guard long term, and with the extra intercept power from the protect marker, it's a 1 card guard. So here my opponent swings again, and I just have to guard with all of the evil decoy tokens. Because of the Fruit Basket Elf, it was at 15k, so I need to guard with all 3. And here, swings the Grajiorl Dragon, draws 1, and gets to call 2 to both those circles. So that's grade 1 Grajiorl Dragon, meaning he'll get the draw, and he calls the Maiden a Sweet Berry. So he definitely could have boosted with some of those with the cards he draws. I don't know why he didn't, honestly, but not that it really matters in the end here because he whole charges a heal, which is kind of nice. Doesn't really amount to anything. Gets the draw. So here it's a 23k Grajiorl Dragon, really strong. Can't remember if I just decide to take it. I might just decide to take it because I know if he gets a crit, like it's over anyway. But if I take this swing, I can at least bank on a heal trigger and be able to guard these better in this situation here as my best out to this board state. And I think that's what I end up doing. I know here I'm just running through the different scenarios in hand. Oh no, I actually do guard it. Um, I don't know why I guarded it. Maybe just those columns. It was probably just because it's the weakest attack. So yeah, I just do 50k because it's the weakest attack to try to bank on him. Yeah, he gets the critical trigger. So I think pretty sure that's game there. Oh, I know it's game, but I don't know if I had any heals left in deck. But that concludes this game versus my Magoroku vision, which is Grajiorl Dragon. Of course, not the smoothest game since I had to assist turn 1 and didn't find my Magoroku Fugen till my second grade 3 turn to ride for my third grade 3 turn. But this is kind of the thing with the deck, just thinking about how you can out with, especially with Mizukaze there. I feel like that was a really powerful play, and I wanted to show this without even realizing the Yamashibuki misplay there. So the fact that I recognize that now kind of shows that if you can think ahead like that and use your Mizukaze, it's really uh, just try to think of Mizukaze, how it can out your opponent's board. It's to me it just personally seems very good, and this game almost showcased it. If this wasn't against a deck that could spawn really powerful interceptors, I'm pretty sure that would have been game regardless. But with that being said, though, hope you enjoyed the gameplay for my Magoroku Fugen deck. I should already have a deck profile up for it. I will have a card to go check that out going up right now, so you can look over my list. I will probably be refining it a bit more, testing a bit more. No promises when that will be, but I definitely want to, so definitely going to make some content about that in the future.